right, we are back. If you just landed here for some reason, you're not in the wrong place. You haven't really missed much. All we've done so far is the intro and reviewing some of the stack that we're going to be using. The stack, basically the applications that we're going to be adding to our application, or the libraries, I should say. But we haven't even started coding, but we're about to start right now. So let's go to your code editor of choice, okay? If you have Visual Studio Code and you want to follow along with me, use Visual Studio Code. If you don't, that's fine, but it'll make it a lot easier if you just use the same stuff that I'm using. That way you don't get lost, and so it minimizes the learning curve, okay? So I'm just gonna put this over here. Eventually I'm just gonna put this on the side like this, because I'm gonna basically have to divide the screen into two. So open your Visual Studio Code anywhere, and then just open up, and then have a folder anywhere on your computer where you're going to be saving your application, okay? So doesn't really matter where it is. I'm using a Mac, so if your menu is a little different because you're in a Windows, well, that's why. Alright, so once I'm over here, I'm gonna go ahead to the open file over here, and I'm gonna open a folder. So I'm just gonna open folder, and I'm gonna go to my favorite thing here, workspace, and I'm gonna use this one, and I'm gonna open it. Okay, so now I'm in here, and you notice I already have a Medi Plus Lite in here. So if you missed this part, that Medi Plus Lite is the site that we're going to rebuild. We're going to make, and again, right? So you don't have to really have it there, because we're just gonna use it by pieces and stuff like that. But by all means, if you want to go ahead, that's fine. So let's just go ahead, and I'm gonna put it in here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have PNPM installed, okay? I'm not gonna go over the whole, you gotta have Node.js and where to download it and all that stuff, okay? I'm assuming that you already know this stuff. If you're here, you're trying to learn React, it's because you kind of have a notion of JavaScript and Node.js and things like that. So let's start by installing npm install pnpm. And one thing about the pnpm is that it is a global thing that you have to do. So we're gonna put in global, actually. And if you are in a Mac, you have to sudo it, okay? It's gonna ask you everything that you do global on the Mac, you have to sudo it in front of it, and then you put your password and all that. I already have it installed, so I'm not gonna do this again because it's already installed. There's no problem. Just hit enter, it'll install, and it'll be fine, okay? So once that is installed, it's available to you at your entire machine. So you don't have to do this particular line every time you want to use PNPM. You are ready to use it on any website from this point forward, as long as you're using the same computer that you're using right now, okay? So now that we're there, we're gonna start creating our application. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna PNPM, and then we're gonna go with create Vite, and then we're gonna call this what it's called, Medi Plus. We're gonna call it the Medi Plus. Medi Plus. All right, so that right there, this right here, I mean, it tells you already what you're going to do, right? Using PNPM, you're gonna create a Vite application, and you're gonna call it Medi Plus. Well, what is Vite? Vite is basically a React. Okay, I don't know the actual real, terminology for this stuff. I'm just gonna call it a code splitter. But what it basically does is it allows you to create. It spits out a bunch of code and a bunch of backend stuff already that is already under the hood that you don't have to create yourself, and it creates a React application for you. Okay, back in the days, if you wanted to create an application of any kind, right? Back in the days when we had jQuery and JavaScript, like vanilla JavaScript websites and things like that, in order to create all this stuff, you had to make sure that you had a Babel configuration file, and that you were able to webpack everything yourself. And I mean, you had so many things. I mean, I remember, what is it? Oh my God, I'm losing my memory and all this, because there was so much of it that we had to keep, that eventually when we stopped using that kind of way of making sites, I was so happy. I erased that out of my mind. What was it? Gulp. Oh my God, Gulp sucked. So there was a lot that you had to do in order to create, just to even create the bare bones of an application. Okay. Once single page application like React and all that came about, everything was a lot simpler because everything already came web packed for yourself in order to build it yourself. Then we came with a CRA, create React application. Create React application is a web pack. Is a way of web packing an application into something that you can into a regular application you can run in your browser without having to have Babel and Webpack and all that stuff, right? It already is involved in there. It already does it for you, and it was great, okay? But it was incredibly slow to load and spin and to create anything. It was just like if I was doing this on CRA, on Create React App, I would probably have to pause this video and go get some coffee, do whatever, and then come back after it's done and then resume the video, okay? That's how I used to do it. And if you follow any of my older tutorials, you will see that. But now when Vite came up, Vite uses hot module reloading, which is incredibly fast. They say it's like 10 times faster. I think it's like 50 times faster. You will see after I do this that this application will get created instantly. All right. Before we go forward, I want to also make another thing here. You can specify if you want to use React by just putting React in there. It's a template React. You can just you can do this, and then it will automatically make a React application for you. Okay. But if you are not interested on a React application, or maybe you just taking this tutorial for React, but you get a job eventually next month or whatever as a Vue developer, and you need to do this with Vue, then you can type Vue instead of React. Or maybe you have a TypeScript application instead of a JavaScript application, right? So this is a kind of like a buffet line, right? So if you already know what you're building, do this that I just did. But if you don't know what you're building yet and you want to see the options, make sure that you hit it in this way so that you get to this point. At this point, you can start and you use your arrow down, and you can start choosing which one you want to use. Maybe you got hire as a Vue developer, okay, or React or Preact or Lit or anything like that. So it's gonna be a React application. So we're gonna click that and hit enter, and then it's gonna ask you whether you want to use a TypeScript application or JavaScript application or a remix, which is I think both of them. So we're going to use the JavaScript application here just to make life a little easier, so I don't have to show you how to TypeScript a file or a variable, and I think that is a whole world of its own. TypeScript is great, but it could get a little verbose with a lot of stuff going on. So if you're just kind of getting your feet wet right now, JavaScript then is probably the way to go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead with JavaScript, and it's done. Did I say 50 times faster? I'm probably gonna say is 1,000 times faster. This took a blink of an eye to build, and I swear to you, it's done. All right. So now what? It says it right there. What you need to do now? Well, you need to CDM MediPlus so that you can get out of this global area where you are right now and go into the actual MediPlus website, which is where your React application is in here, okay? But we don't want to work from outside here, because here we have this other HTML thing. I think that should run in a separate environment. So, but if you want to work right from in here, just make sure that you do a CD MediPlus so that this doesn't say test. We have to do that anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and CD MediPlus, and you can just put the first characters and hit tab, and it will take you straight there. Hit enter. So now that you see that it says MediPlus here, that means we are working in here, okay? And then if you want to have a separate screen, you can do code in Visual Studio Code only. You can do code dot space dot, and it will open another application already on MediPlus, where your root is going to be already MediPlus, as you can see there. So if you want to run this on the side, that's fine. Now you don't have that MediPlus light is not on your way, okay? fact, we'll do that. Only because we're not going to be using Vite Plus Lite at the moment. We're still setting things up. Okay. So now that we're here, I am going to go back to my root down here. And if you're noticing all the stuff that you don't have them, it's because I have extensions. I'm not going to go through that. Just go through the extensions here and look for any extensions you think you might like and do it yourself. Alright, so now that we're here at the Vite Plus site, the next thing we have to do for this to run is we have to make sure that our package JSON can generate a node modules for you. Okay, node modules is where everything that node needs to run on the browser will live. So you will need all of that stuff, and everything else is in here. Now we have to do some modifications to our package JSON right here, and we're gonna go ahead and do that now because why not? So first thing we have to do is we gotta make sure that this dev right here, dev says open. So the reason why we want that is because we want, whenever we are ready to run this website, we want to make sure that it opens automatically without you having to type in localhost blah 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 blah. So as soon as you hit run pnpm run pnpm run dev, it will automatically find your default browser and load up. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and we're gonna go ahead and save that. And now go ahead and just, you can close it if you want to, and then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna do pnpm install. And then this is also something that used to take a very long time to do because it had to install so many things, but pnpm is super fast and done. This fast, really fast, love it. Okay, so now that we're here, we can visually verify that we have a node modules package in here, and we have a package JSON. Everything obviously we do, and everything is great. So we are off to a good start. So the next thing, or the last thing that I want to be able to do is I want to make sure that I can generate or download the necessary configurations. So let me see how I can, give me 1 second. Do I have a Vite config? Okay, so yeah, so one more thing that I had to do for that is I have to go to the Vite config right here, and in this Vite config I have to make sure that it opens as soon as I load up the project. So I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna hit an enter, and I'm gonna create a server, and I am going to now gonna need a port. I'm gonna go open true, and that's it, save it. So now that is saved, done. Okay, so we're good. Now I can go ahead and close the Vite config.js, which was already created here. And then the first thing I'm going to do is that you remember this package JSON that said here dev. That's the one that we're going to use to run your application. Build will be used in order to build your application, and this right here, no, we're not gonna use that. So let's just go to dev. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put pnpm dev, and bam, oop, it opened over here, sorry. And there it is. I'm gonna put it in the front and center. It's already running. Everything here is basically what you have in here. All right, so before we go into any more installs and stuff like that, I'm gonna go ahead and close it here. That's probably enough for this video, and then we go on the next one on how to do more packages installments that we're going to be needing. Okay, tailwind and things like that, setting it up and all that good stuff. All right guys, I'll talk to you later.